Sex is just kind of a funny thing. We're mashing our bodies together. You've got to embrace it. How do you define great sex? If your mental picture of a healthy sex life comes from what you've seen in pop culture or movies or porn, it's time to adjust your expectations. Sex that gets portrayed culturally is often very open and sensual and in your face, and you might subconsciously think, my intimate life doesn't look like that. Well, of course it doesn't. The sex that's happening in movies and porn is not reality at all. You might know this rationally, but I just want to reinforce it. A healthy sex life is so much more than being ultra spontaneous, hot, and wild. Sometimes it looks like texting your partner, hey, want to shower together tonight? Or laughing in the middle of it because your dog jumped on the bed. Or just cuddling in bed for an hour because you're both exhausted but want to be close. So, what actually creates a healthy, beautiful sex life? If you're like many of the couples I've worked with who say, we're still in love, but something seems off in our sex life, is this normal? This video is for you. I'm going to share 5 signs that you have a great sex life with your partner so you don't have to wonder anymore. Before we dive in, I'm Allie, a licensed marriage and family therapist and head of relationships at Paired, the couples app that keeps your romantic relationship fresh. Check it out in the description. All right, let's talk about sex. 5 overlooked signs of a healthy sex life. 1, you talk about it. If all of your communication with your partner about sex is nonverbal, that's not a great sign. A healthy sex life is one that has active verbal communication around it. You tell your partner what turns you on, what positions you like or don't like, and when you are or not in the mood, and why. That's a big one because then they'll stop doing those things that secretly turn you off. It's a really good sign if you're open and honest with your partner around the topic of sex. If that's a struggle, here's a tool that you can try. Try creating a shared journal or notebook with your partner where you can both share your vulnerable thoughts with each other. And you can make it exciting too by sharing things that turn you on or maybe even some fantasies. Another option is to share in a therapy session or use the Paired app to have conversations about sex that you wouldn't normally have. There's a lot of great exercises and content there that make having these conversations way easier because they're playful and lighthearted. The goal isn't perfection, it's honesty. And guess what? Communication in the bedroom improves communication everywhere else too. It's all connected. 2, you try new things. This one is really important because sex and intimacy thrive on novelty. Newness is arousing and exciting, and if you're willing to try new things with each other, that's a sign of a really healthy sex life. This doesn't mean you have to be pulling off crazy sexual stunts or recreating scenes from 50 Shades of Grey, but if that's your thing, go ahead. You could try having sex in a new place in your house, or putting on a new playlist, or even just wearing new lingerie. Being willing to introduce exciting new stuff is a sign that you are not going to have a dead bedroom. The caveat here is that you have a safe word if you want to stop something new that you're trying. Since you haven't done it before, you don't always know what feelings will come up or if you'll feel comfortable, so agree on a safe word beforehand, and if one of you says that, stop what you're doing and reset and check in before jumping right back in. 3, you're able to laugh when things get weird. Let's be honest, sex in a long-term relationship can be really awkward sometimes. One of you will pull the other's hair by accident. You're gonna get stuck, you're gonna have a leg cramp, something where someone is just stinky. It's bodies, we're just human. Sex is not always this epic tantric love session or hot scene from a romance novel. But if you are able to turn these moments into humor, you're golden. You've got to be able to laugh. Maybe you run around naked in your bedroom doing a silly dance to get your partner to laugh. Playfulness can be a portal to having good sex. Sex is just kind of a funny thing. We're mashing our bodies together. You've got to embrace it. 4, sex isn't always spontaneous. If you have natural sparks all the time with your partner, good for you. But I'm guessing that if you've been together a while, that's not always the case. And that is healthy and fine. Yes, it's great when the stars align, but that just isn't the reality most of the time. I promise that what I'm about to say is true. Scheduling time for intimacy is healthy. This doesn't mean that you're putting the words sex in your calendar. It's not an obligation, and sex that feels obligated is not good sex. What it does mean is that you create time and space for your relationship to thrive intimately. And if you're busy, you make a point of prioritizing that time. It can be as simple as just texting your partner, hey, Friday at 2 p.m. work for you to chill and cuddle and do nothing? You don't need to add pressure to your sex life, but you do need to prioritize time when you can be intimate and relax with each other and put effort into making it happen even if you're super busy. When your sex life is starting out, spontaneity is the norm, but when you've gotten used to each other, a little intention and scheduling goes a long way in helping you maintain consistent intimacy. 5, the pleasure goes both ways. If it feels like only one of you is benefiting from sex and getting pleasure most of the time, you might be in an unhealthy situation. A healthy sex life is not one-sided and doesn't feel like tit for tat. So what does this look like in a healthy sex life? Sometimes both of you will climax. Sometimes only one of you will. Sometimes neither one of you will. But it never feels one-sided. It should never feel like one of you is always giving and the other is always receiving, because this sets up an unhealthy power dynamic. If it feels like this might be the case, it's worth trying to talk to your partner about it. You could try saying something like, "Hey, I've been missing a little pleasure lately." This goes back to my first point. Talking about sex is healthy. To sum it up, in a healthy sex life, you're not always going to orgasm, but you are always going to feel aware of each other's needs and desires so that pleasure is equally distributed over time. Reframing what healthy means. Let's zoom out for a second, because maybe you're watching this and thinking, I don't tick all 5 boxes. That's totally okay. No relationship is perfect. No sex life is perfect. The most important thing is to be aware and to check in with your partner. Healthy couples stay curious about each other and are willing to grow together. And that's the mindset that I want to leave you with. So to sum it up, what are the 5 signs of a healthy sex life? 1, you talk about it. What you want, what you don't want, and how you feel. 2, you embrace novelty, even in small ways, because curiosity is sexy. 3, you laugh through the awkward. Humor can make you feel relaxed and safe and even turned on. 4, you make time for it, even if that means putting it in your calendar. 5, you prioritize mutual pleasure and make sure that your sex life feels equal. If your relationship has some of these, amazing. And if not, you can build them and intentionally deepen your intimacy with your partner. If you are serious about strengthening your relationship, the Paired app makes it easy with expert-backed advice, fun quizzes, and daily check-ins. It helps couples stay connected no matter how busy life gets. The link is in the description. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Do you feel like your sex life is healthy? Which aspects of a healthy sex life do you have or are missing? Sharing with others can be so helpful because there's probably someone in the comments who's been in a similar situation. Let's help each other have better sex, shall we? So that's just about it for today's video. Hit the like button, subscribe for more relationship insights, and I'll see you in the next one.